fallacies, focus on principalities broken. I'm loaning my heart and soul to the game that's scared to pay it back. And failure is a motherfucker. The strength to go on and believing in another sucker.
What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? It is Gentlemen's Talk Wednesday, so you already know what it is. As you saw from the YouTube thumbnail, we got us a Gentlemen's Lounge special going on tonight, which means we got another interview coming your way. DJ Michael B, what you got for us?
What's going on, everybody? Happy Gentlemen's Talk Wednesday. Today we got the one and only Justin Neal, graduate, Colorado School of Mines, black entrepreneur, local businesses. We're going to get it in, man. We're going to dive in.
It
You want to
sounds
start
like
off?
a deal.
Yes,
That's what I'm
sir.
talking about. Welcome to the lounge, Mr. Justin. It's been a hot minute.
It has, man. Great to see you guys.
Yeah, so we'll start nice and simple. Kind of tell the people, a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your upbringing, and then, kind of what kind of endeavors you got going on now.
Okay, definitely will. All right, so basically I'm from Baytown, aka McNair, right? East side of Houston. Um, I've I'm 33 years old still until January, right? So Capricorn energy here, but really you know, grew up and raised in locally here on east side of Houston, right? East Harris County, like they say. And I went to Sterling High School initially. If you want to get even further back, we'll go to Harlem Elementary School, right?
Shout out
So
to Harlem.
shout out to
Yup.
Harlem Elementary. And then of course Highlands Junior School, right? And if y'all it was wondering about sports, we can go look at the banners up there. We got at least four of them still hanging right now. So that was a good thing as well. Got to shout out JD Walker Community Center Camp as well back in the day. Holy Family Catholic Church, right? Knights of Peter Claver, Honor Society, Top Teens of America, whatever we want to say, right? We've probably been there and made it happen at some point, as a 33-year-old man. But I would say wisdom is the key that I've learned so far and understanding. Just and that goes to the Bible. You look at Solomon, right? So uh, you know, but I would say let's go from there. I would say that gives you a good background. But as far as if we want to go into the professional world now, financial planner, real estate, buy and hold strategies. I DJ for fun sometimes with my boy Michael B, right?
Gee.
Coach Little League football, married, a beautiful wife, and we might have something else to reveal here pretty soon as well. So yeah, man, it's a blessing every day, and I'm grateful for every opportunity I've been given so far. So.
That's what I'm talking about. So of course, like you said, and it's beautiful to hear. What I'm saying? You guys all heard everything about where he's from. It's three of us from the same city, same different
Yup.
little parts of it. We got two Sterling Rangers on the cast here, and you got myself being a Robert E. Lee Gander. So we had a long standing rivalry for 4 years, whether it was football,
Yep.
basketball, track, whether it was in choir. It didn't really matter what it is or what it was. That was just how we knew it. It was always blue versus that maroon. There wasn't nothing to it but to do it. But at the end of the day, you got three representatives in one of the greatest graduating classes that came out of the city of Baytown, and I said what I
Yeah.
said. So
Best to date,
Facts.
class of
you heard
08,
me.
right?
Hey, I'm telling you,
Gee.
if you put an all-star together of all the athletes from all these
Oh
graduating class,
yeah.
man, 08 got something for you, man. I'm just
Hey,
saying.
that's facts, man. That's big facts for sure. For sure, for sure.
So getting into you talk about being the financial manager. You're into real estate and all that stuff. So going from being that one of our better athletes in the city of Baytown and now going off to college, when did that transition go from where I'm like, all right, maybe I'm not going to do this athletic thing professionally, but I still got to figure out what I'm going to do to essentially make a living, for like you and your beautiful wife?
Man, that's a great question, bro. That's really a great question. I would say, so of course, left Sterling, 3-year letterman in three sports, and I went to Colorado School of Mines. It's tough academic school. Like, I mean, probably one of the hardest schools in America, if not in the world, right? Number one engineering school in the world. Started off in petroleum engineering initially, but I always wanted to be a CEO. I always wanted to be some type of business mogul, some type of real estate guy, right? So they did offer business economics there. And I said, okay, I can do business economics. I did 3 years of entrepreneurship as well. but I also have all the background in like calculus one, two, three, differential equations, all them crazy classes that engineers and chemists and all these people got to take. I had to take those classes as well, and I had to pass them, right? So it was it's made me more well rounded. Put it like that. Like even though I don't necessarily do physics on a daily basis, I mean to an extent you could say I kind of do though. If you're in the rain and you driving and you in your car, you going whatever speed, right? uh Everything does have physics around you, understand gravity and all this stuff. I mean, I know it sounds a little bit like a lot, but the fact is, it makes your mind refigure things out from what you learned as a baby, right? Or when you first rode your bike, now you riding down a mountain in a Honda Civic, right? But
Yep.
in the
Man.
snow, right? But that's real facts. Like, I had to learn how to drive in the snow with some 20s on my Honda Civic, right? And stuff
Everybody ain't
like
able
that.
because that
Right,
ain't
it's
that ain't for the
crazy.
faint. If you ain't driven in snow or from ice, hey man, you want to talk about the fear factor, boy? That's you one wrong left turn from going 360 on them.
Yeah, facts, man. And shout out to Gerard Doucette as well. He went out there to Colorado with me. And my boy Denzel, of course, he ended up going to U of H and playing ball there as well. So, but we all did made different directions right over time, right? And the biggest thing that, like I put in the headline, is time plus effort equals results, right? That's the best formula I learned in school, right? I learned a lot of formulas too, like crazy amount of formulas at this point in my life, right? Then I also had to get all these licenses in order to be a financial planner as well. So I would say the biggest thing has always been time plus effort equals results, and of course God first. And it took me a lot of times to get there, right? But it was never. I mean, don't no, no, I wouldn't even say that. I would say I always loved God first, right, my whole life. But I did make mistakes over time, right? It's a natural part of growing up, and but I am very grateful for where I am now. Like I feel like some of the things I've had to do to become who I had to be right now is it's been tough, right? It's a tough process, right? It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. Like I'm talking like some months, maybe 14, 15 hours a day. You know what I mean? And I'm talking like 4 months at a time at a time, right? So there's just some things to think about. But the point is, you never know where your parachute is gonna drop you off, right? But if you got to at least get in the plane first, right? You get in the plane
Mhm.
first, then you got to jump out, then you got to have a parachute, then you got to have a place to land that's not in the middle of an island or something, right? So it's like,
100%.
so it's just part of the process. But I would say, man, anybody that got dreams out there that feel like, man, I don't know if I can do this, blah blah blah. I feel like God has made me a rose out of the concrete, right? And the people around me, like y'all guys and all the guys I went to school with in high school, like, oh wait, like you say, class of '08, even no matter what ethnicity, what gender, whatever, we was all successful for the most part. I mean, of course, you got those little seeds that fall short a little bit, but at the same time, you gotta love them all the same, right? So
100%.
Mhm.
yeah.
And I think we definitely went a wide variety of different ways to find success. Some of
Yeah.
us, we all know. I know between you and I, Justin, we done dabbled in the coaching world. And then of course, DJ Michael B done a little bit of everything in his life. Still out there doing his damn thing like that. I went the military route, still doing the military route. So we all found our different ways to success. But we know, just like you kind of talked about, with success comes obstacles, comes shortfalls. So what would you say was one of your biggest obstacles getting you to where you currently are?
um man, man, I would say some of those tests, right? Really, it's always been a lot of tests right through our life, but I would say you know after college, I would say, I had to get my Series 7, my Series 66, my SIE, and various other licenses. I'm always continuing my education. I've dabbled in. I have a bachelor's in economics. Um, and also on top of that is just really the mindset. I think is the biggest thing, right? That's always been the thing. Because like a lot of times when you're not, I call it nueve riche, like when you're not the first, you're the new riches of the family, right? I wouldn't even say that, like, I would say our parents, they have did what they can do, right? They have put us on a pedestal to where we get into where we going, right? They then put us in position to be successful, But at the end of the day, we still got to pick up that torch and go to the next level,
Yep.
right? And then we got to uplift them too, as they're getting older. Like, I mean, it's a lot of things that are changing in the world. And, you know, I would say the biggest obstacle is keeping that mindset no matter what the rest of the world is doing or whatever people's assumptions. Everybody's going to always have an assumption and an opinion, right? No matter who they are. It could be your grandma, your pastor, your uncle, your cousins, whatever, right? Everybody has an opinion and everybody has an assumption. But once you get grounded for one in the word, I feel like that's the biggest truth in the world, right? And then the next thing is grounded in your capacity, right? So what I mean by that is everybody don't have the same capacity, right? Everybody don't even have the same amount of talents and things like that. But if you're the best authentic version of yourself that you can be, that's the key to life, bro. And once I figure that out, now I'm able to not second guess myself or not go have to ask, 30 people's opinion about whatever I want to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
no, I get that, and I like that a lot. Um, Authenticity is slowly but surely something of a lost art.
yeah,
We see a lot more people that are more like manufactured, as opposed to being true to themselves. And no matter what realm career wise you're in, the more authentic you are, the more, because no matter what you're in, like you talk about being in real estate and being in the financial game. I'm like, people aren't gonna fall in love with the product before they fall in love with you. You've got to make them like you, the
facts,
person, first. So if they don't like you or they
facts.
don't trust you because you're not, keeping it a buck with them, how are you expected to be successful in the endeavors that you do? Like I said, what I do now, being a recruiter, I can tell you all day about all the benefits, but at the end of the day, what about me makes it interesting for you to want to do what I'm doing?
Right. That is so true. And you know what? That's another piece that kind of brought me here as well. Was like you say, it's basically all about a relationship, man. It's all about a relationship. Look at that beautiful baby right there.
My little
You see
snotty
little
nose
baby?
over there. You
That's
want to say
what's
hi?
up, man. That's awesome. Hello.
Hey, Calissa.
Look, you already know how. She make her weekly appearances. That's how it is.
Yes, sir.
No, that's perfect though. That's perfect. But now, I would say, yeah, just like you say, being real to yourself, building
Mhm.
relationships. Like I love to build relationships with
You
people
wearing your
over
socks, bro?
time, man. I think true relationships take time, bro. At the end of the day,
Oh
no
yeah.
matter who you are, what you are, whatever, it's a matter of time, right? Like I've been knowing you guys since the gap, right? They say
We
back
go
in the
we go
gap,
back to JD Walker, man.
literally
Broke
to the
glass
gap,
on a
right?
Cadillac, whatever you want to call it.
Right, as far as you want to go, right? And that's part of life right there is and then you build relationships. That's what I love about Baytown area in general. It's like, everybody know they whole the person's whole name, they family members,
Yeah,
that
you
you
cool, baby.
you got authentic love for people. You see what
Bring
I'm
your
saying?
Man,
ass
our
up.
So
parents go to school together, like out here. It's
right.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I
Exactly,
mean, think about.
man.
I mean, we was
Exactly.
coming up. I mean, we had two public high schools and a private high school. Now we got three publics and a private high school. But we still hung out with people that went to BCA.
I
No,
know it.
when GCM got built up, we didn't really hold it against them. We was just like, y'all kind of the new kids on the block, because Lee and Sterling go back to, most of our
Yeah.
parents was going to one of these schools coming up. So like GCM was like an outsider coming into this thing.
Yeah, they was after we wasn't even able to go to GCM yet.
No,
But
Yeah,
shout
it's
out
open
to
right
those
after we
guys too.
graduate.
What's that 11 class? You had Pop, you had PA, you got Andy and
Yeah,
all those guys, little Breland out there, right?
yeah,
So
because they
that's
opened up. That
yeah.
was
awesome.
our senior year when they opened up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That was like the first class to come
Yeah,
through there, I
because that's when they
believe.
took y'all's baseball coach from Sterling went over there, and all of a sudden their baseball squad blew up and was one of the best in the state all of a sudden.
Right. No, we always had it in baseball too, you're right.
It
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
surprise me
yeah.
though, because most of our baseball players always came from like Highlands and McNair area. At
Yeah,
Sterling,
yeah. Facts,
that's where they all
facts.
went.
Yeah. Shout out to Brett and Hunter. They went to the pros for a little bit. That was
Yeah,
nice.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So nah, man, it's been a ride, right? I love class of '08. I really would like to, since we on here, right, we could probably make this happen. Some type of '08, five ahead and five behind, right? So you're looking at '08 to '03 and '08 to 13. That would be
Yeah.
that would be pretty
That would be
nice,
fire.
right?
We
Oh yeah, no, that'll be real
have
nice.
an adult prom in this motherfucker. We do prom.
Right.
Man, look now, you can't look. If you redo prom, look, we got to do it just a little bit differently. We got two
Nah, we
DJs and a
gonna have to
bartender on
change
the
it up
staff
then.
right now. We
Yeah,
got to turn it up a different way.
we'll change that bad boy. Yeah,
Hey,
but
look,
we all
hey, none
Hey,
of y'all going home.
real
Like
talk.
everybody stay at the hotel because we finna get y'all straight fucked up.
hey, real talk, man, real talk. But nah, man, I would say, man, life is good. We already know the obstacles. Like, the obstacles is always go back to mindset. I would say, like, anywhere you want to go, and also God is greater, right? Between mindset and God is greater. That's the keys to getting out of any situation. Obviously, I had a lot of heartaches, a lot of hardships, a lot of harder roads than a lot of folks, whatever. But those two things, mindset and God, will get you through anything, bro. Like, because once you
Yeah,
once you figure out, you'll figure out, basically say, hey, God is greater. Whatever your problem is, no matter how bad you feel, you could be crying. I don't really cry, right? I probably cried like 3 times in my life. No, but maybe like
you say I'm one of them. I'm one of them old school men. We don't cry.
right, right. But no, I think that's the biggest thing is just mindset and time and effort, bro. A lot of people think things are like immediate, especially these new generation guys,
Oh
right?
yeah,
It's
they
like,
want that
no, bro, you
overnight
got to take your
success,
time.
man.
Mm-hmm.
They see is the reward. They don't see the grind. They don't see they don't see the tribulations that went in. They don't see the lost possible friendships that went through. Like there's a lot of sacrifice that comes into being. No matter what the level of greatness you achieve is, there's some sacrifice going in there, and that's
Right.
something I can say that, especially with us all being in our 30s like that, we understood that. We understand that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best to instill that, in my girls now. Like, listen, man, you got to put the work in. If you're not working, what are you really doing? And it's crazy.
Right.
Like my, Coach Southall, his biggest quote, and of course it came from from another Houston legend. But he's like, hey, man, you don't grind, you don't shine, man. And that's one of the truest things you'll ever hear.
Right.
Like
Right.
it
You don't
just
work,
is.
you
Like
don't grind, you don't shine. Yep.
I mean, that's it. Like you
Yeah.
gotta there is no, oh cool, I'm gonna be successful in 24 hours. Nah, fam. Ain't mad. Like all
It
these,
does not
and
exist,
now,
man.
and what's crazy to me, what kills me is this generation has so much access to way more. Like, the
Yeah.
social media
Yeah.
stuff. But then I think about just from an athletic perspective, like when we was coming up, playing AAU sports, that shit was expensive as all get out.
Mm.
Nowadays, it's so many clubs out there, like you can get sponsored and they ain't got to pay for nothing. You be a kid from the hood, but if you got the skills, hey man, I'm gonna sponsor you. I'm gonna pay for your membership. I'm gonna let you get on this team. Like, you have all
Right.
these resources at your disposal, and kids still don't want to put the work in. And I know you see
That's the
this,
thing. Yeah, it's true.
you see it because say you coach, you saying you coached little league football and stuff like that. I'm coaching when I was coaching the middle school stuff, and I'm like, you see it. It's like, man, look, y'all don't understand what y'all got in front of y'all right now, man.
Yeah,
Like,
opportunity, man. Yeah.
like,
Well, you got to think about it too. Like kind of going to your same point is they do have more access, right? But there's also a lot more trending going on in the world, right? So
yeah,
it's about what they put their attention towards, right? If somebody puts their attention towards being a great athlete, they can go play Madden and be better, right? They can go watch
hmm
YouTube videos of the coolest people to ever play. They can go outside, do some cone drills, whatever, right? But the access to the type of drills and all these things are available. You can go to Google, right? You can Google, you can go to
yep,
YouTube, you can do whatever. But instead of some people focus so much time on, oh, let me go be a social media influencer and just do Instagram only or just do, whatever only. It's like, no, leverage these tools. Everything is a tool in the world, you know what I'm
100%.
saying? So it's like what you gonna use as your toolkit versus like, I'm just gonna be a consumer of products, right? It's like, no, let's not be not don't I mean you could be a consumer of products, right? But also use the toolkits available to you, right? Because, you know, I would say success is like is utilizing the market, right? Or utilizing the trend that's happening, or utilizing what's next, right? If we would all been smart and got a particular stock 20 years ago, and I
hmm
ain't even gonna say which one just because because of
Cause
my
we
job,
already
right?
know.
Right. But the point is, everybody knows those numbers, right? And knows what that would be, right? So the thing
Yup.
is, same thing. Same with parenting, right? Say be the person that you needed as a child. You know what I mean? That's what we have to do. We got to be stewards of the right things, right? Of what we worked hard to learn in school, or worked hard to learn in the military, or worked hard to learn, on the computer, or whatever it may be, right? But now we be stewards of that. We teach it to the next generation. Now we building quality individuals and for the next generation, right? And so on and so forth. We doing the right things for our parents. We doing the right things for our community. You know, our churches, kids. That's why I coach football. Really, is to give back. People need that. Like some people don't even have a father in their life, right? So people are like, why
Mm-hmm.
you always coaching out here? You don't even have no son out here. I'm like, it's not about that for me. It's more so like I know the sport very well, and I know that I still remember my fifth grade coach and my sixth grade coach. Like, and I'm appreciative of them. So I try and get that back. And if a kid can go to college just based on that, hey, I'm happy about it.
You've
Yeah, it's
done
all.
your job too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, and
it's a
I've
lot of
always believed
people.
it, man. It's like we
Yeah,
spend too much time, not us in general, but just the world as a whole. We spend too much time trying to do for self and try to step on everybody else. And like, hey, man, that's enough food for all of us to eat, man.
it's
Like
facts.
it
It's
really
facts.
is. It's so much food out here. We can all eat, but it's just so many
Have
people that
you
just
been though?
wanna hoard. And I'm like,
This
what
is
are
a
you
good
hoarding?
yeah.
And it's just
Right.
like Justin said. We talk about knowledge. Knowledge is a big one. It's like, yeah, knowledge is power. That's a true statement. It's a
Mm-hmm.
half-ass statement, but it's a true. But the other half of that
Right.
statement is, that knowledge is, if you're not spreading that knowledge, is wasted. That's the
Right.
whole thing. Like I can have all the knowledge in the world, but what am I doing with it? I can't. I can take it to the grave room, but then what? Now that knowledge is dead.
Right.
Like the
There
true
you go.
power of knowledge
Exactly.
is, can you
Exactly.
pass it
Exactly.
to somebody else so that that
Exactly.
knowledge continues to grow? Because everything is adaptable.
That's
Everything
so
that we
true.
learned as kids is not the same that kids are learning now, but it's adaptable. Just like the methods of coaching that we had may not work with this generation, but it is adapted through the times. The way our
Right.
parents raised us, we can't necessarily raise our kids that way, but it's adapted through the times. So you have to adapt and you have to continue building on that knowledge that you already given, assuming somebody gave it to you.
That's the key right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's the key. Yeah. The knowledge, like you say, the knowledge that's been given. But think about it. How many times have y'all heard about like your great grandma or something used to be like a medicine woman or something, or used to be able to find some water with just
Mm-hmm.
using a stick or whatever, right? Or,
Yep.
you know, all those things were passed down over generations, right? But they may not have given it to the next generation, or we might have to wait till we 80 to get that particular gift.
Mm-hmm.
But a gift that we can do though is teach these kids what we've already learned. So now we already got a lot of miracles, quote unquote, right, in our
Oh
minds
yeah.
of because like if 10 years ago yourself from 10 years ago was to say, oh man, we're gonna have Google, we're gonna have Bing, we're gonna have all these, you got YouTube, you got blah blah, right? 10 years ago, or I mean, I guess it was 20 years ago. Now we're getting kind of old, right? Maybe 30 years.
Getting
but
there.
Hey,
but
listen, Google started 25 today, dog.
right,
So
right, right. So
You
we
said
getting
Google
kind of
turned
old.
25
But
today?
Google started 25 today.
So Google over here just graduating college with a bachelor's degree and shit.
right, right.
Hey,
But you see what my point is, right? It wasn't here the
yeah.
whole time. I know y'all remember like MySpace days and all this stuff, right?
Man, we
So
was
you
talking about
like
MySpace a couple episodes ago.
or like
We,
America
we was over
Online
there
chat.
whole ass learning coding as kids and didn't even realize it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying? Like things progress every 2 years, bro. It's gonna be something new, and it's like, all right, did you capitalize while you had that time? We only gonna be
Yeah.
33 right now, financially, right? And then you go to 34 and so on and so forth. So
Shit, I'm already there.
yeah,
Shit, I am 34.
there you
Shit,
go. You already
I'll be
34.
35
You already
next year.
there.
So I'm like, I'm just trying to make
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Which is great though, man. I'm happy for y'all and proud of you too, bro. Like just to see your accomplishment. You got your child, right? Like that's a huge blessing. You got just one or
So I got my toddler, and then I got my bonus daughter, my teenager, freshman in high school over there at
okay.
LaPorte High School. So
That's what's up, man. That's
so
what's up.
it's all girls in this house, and ain't no more surprises happening. As we said, nah, fam. Uncle
Yeah,
Sam took care
yeah.
of that. I said, look, a free snip job, I take it, cause ain't no more. I
Right.
Mike can know me. I enjoy my freedom and being there. That freedom movement. I can't have no surprises at 37, 38. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
I know what you mean.
my timing is
Yeah.
perfect because when she turned 18, I'll be 48. I'm good.
That is solid though. That is pretty
Like,
solid. You still got about a few more years though, typically, right?
yeah,
By
but
till they
it's
turn about 25, 26.
yeah, but I know I have look. They'll both be out of high school though. That's the key.
Yep.
Give me two that graduated. That's success in my book. Because
Okay.
even nowadays, just graduating high school is seeming to be more and more of a challenge for a lot of people. So let's
Man.
start there. Let's just start there. Let's graduate high school, like because most people don't go back and go get that GED, man. They They just drop, and that's it.
But I think that goes back to my point too, as well as like being intentional, right?
Hmm.
Intentionality is the key, right? So, and you say high school will be fine, but ultimately you may, I don't know, maybe you want them to go to college, or maybe obviously you want them like to succeed as much as they can, right? But you also can't, obviously say, hey, you got to go do this or whatever. But I think the biggest thing is that expectation, right? Just
Hmm.
about that. You've been in the military and all that. You got, I'm sure sergeants and all these folks have expectations of you.
Oh,
Just like
100%.
yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing is because we in a culture of like, oh well, everything is good, don't worry. Like consolidation prizes of
Hmm.
at a track meet or something. I'm like, no, I don't
No,
want no consolation. I
if it
want
ain't
a
if it
first
ain't a
place,
gold, silver, or bronze,
second.
get that shit away from me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we gotta kind of instill that. That goes back to that instilling these things. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and
Definitely.
then for me, like it's just it's that the graduating high school is a stepping stone. That's one step
Yeah.
closer to finding your success, finding your path. So I know that's what it starts with because I've been of the mindset. I've talked to a lot of other financial cats, a lot of other business cats, and even some counselors that I've worked with, and I was like, I won't be surprised if in the next let's say 5 to 10 years that we don't even value college degrees the same as we used to, because I think we're trending more
Mm.
into a world of certifications because most certifications are tied to, like you already talked about, continuing education. Like you don't just get that certificate and then that's it. Like you have to, like for me being a certified strength conditioning, I have to every year do continuing education to keep that certification relevant, which means you're learning the newest stuff, the best stuff, what's happening now. Like you that to me in one point or in one time will actually value more than a college degree will, because you can brain dumb what you learned in college unless you're actively applying what you got that degree in. But
Facts.
typically, when you get a certification, you're immediately going to work in whatever field that is. Looking at what you're doing, everything you're doing is kind of tied together. You're dealing with the financial side plus the real estate. So like all of your stuff is tied together because you can help not only people find their dream house, you can help them on the financial side. Like, listen, make sure when you get this house, are you looking at the right rates for your homeowner's insurance? Do you got your flood insurance? What are you doing on the off chance that X, Y, and Z happen? Let's put a plan together. So,
Right.
like you talked about the tools in the toolbox, you have all these different methods now where you can educate people with the tools that you've been given to pass those
Right.
same tools along so that they can find their own successes.
Exactly. And that's a big key for me as well is that right? Because I did this not just for myself, but also for my people within my sphere of influence, right? And I'm always open to I can do a seminar or we can meet one on one, bro. I feel like those things are very doable. And it's just a matter of all right, do we want to let's just grow. Everybody wants to grow, right? And I am more certified now, right? Because 10 years ago I was wanting to still, I was always had this same mindset. Like I want to go be an entrepreneur. I want to help others. I want to grow, you know, assets basically, right? But the
Hmm.
thing is, now I have the tools to actually do so, and I want to help others, right? I always want, my same intentions are the same, right? But like I say, time and effort to get these results, right? It took a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it took a lot of years, right? Because I mean, it took me about I'm at about 12 years experience now, right? But coming straight out of college, it wasn't an easy road. Like it wasn't like I went straight into being an engineer and making great money and all this stuff, right? So it took like stepping stones, stepping stones, stepping stones, and we've progressively grown every single year, and now it's a matter of now it's a matter of just focus on I'm married now as well since 2021, and I'm focused on just growing my family, growing my legacy, growing my helping others around me to just maximize their goals, right? But at the same time, like I said, time is very finite, so I need people to basically, for one, believe in me, and then for two is like enact what we're talking about, right? Like,
Hmm.
okay, let's go ahead and do it. Let's put a plan in place. Let's act on it, and we can even predict the goals, and how they will fruition, based on multiple factors that happen throughout life, So
100%.
that's something we could be real intentional about, especially like I say, 34, 35, whatever age we are at this time. God willing, we'll get to like 80 years old at some point, or older, or less, or whatever, right? But the point is, the things we do today, then at 43, then at 53, 63, and so forth, are going to be crucial. And and taking those first steps is the main thing.
I like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
given like your your current successes now. So when did you find that as your when did you find your true calling? Like you say you went to college, but then you say that 12 years experience now. So at some point prior to that first year starting, like you had to figure out what direction you were going. That's usually the hardest step for most people that graduate. All right, I got my degree, and it's like that now what becomes the next question. So when
Oh
did you
yeah.
find your true calling?
Well, I would say, yeah, I would say probably around like 2013 or so, like right when I was getting ready to get out of college. And I started off at New York Life, which is it's mostly life insurance, annuities, and things of that nature. But I started there, and I seen a lot of successful people, right? You know, driving nice cars, rocking the suits. Actually, we can go back even further than that. When I was 18, a guy named Eric Lewis, he introduced me to Primerica at that time, right? And that's when I first got introduced to the market. I mean, and to the the whole realm of finances, right? And it was like a point of he was basically like, hey, he showed me this presentation. I seen like 30,000 a month as an opportunity. I said, okay, whatever you got to do to make 30,000 a month, let me figure that out, right? But that was at like 18. But then obviously, you go down those paths, you find some things out. You're like, I don't know about this, and so forth, right? But then when I was graduating college, that's when I went to New York Life, which was in 2018. So I was about like 22 years old, right? And I seen, like I said, I seen a lot of very successful people, bro, and I actually seen some success as well. Like, but it was all commission, 100% commission based, right? So
Okay.
I was having some great months, and I was having some bad months, having some great months, having some bad months. Then I was like, all right, man, I get this, but also I'm not making enough cash flow, so I started a moving company at the same time, right? And then I was doing like 3 or 4 projects at once just to make what I needed, bro. I got student loans that ain't going nowhere. I got bills that ain't going nowhere, right? So I'm like, all right,
Hmm.
well, if this one income is not making this, man, I was even working for the Boy Scouts at the same time too, because but I'm still instilling back into these kids. You know what I mean? So it was like I felt like I became an Eagle Scout at like 25. Oh, not necessarily, but you can just basically just imagine that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm getting mentored by these district executives and stuff. They some old school guys, but the values of Boy Scouts in general is good. Right? Be prepared. You learn how to tie all these knots and things like this, right? So, but the point is, you also instilling back in the communities. You're building up projects. You're doing these different things, right? Okay, but all the time, I'm making sales goals. I'm getting commission checks. I'm learning how to be a great salesman. I'm building a book of people that I know, love, and trust, and that vice versa know, love, and trust me, right? So I got like 3 phones at this point in time. One phone has 5,000 people in it, one has 2,000 people in it, and one has like, I don't know, 3,000 people in it, right? But and this is not like no Instagram. This is phone numbers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
but the thing is, out of those people, and it's gonna sound weird or whatever, but out of these people, I probably would call back maybe 2,000. So at about 10,000 people, right? And I might only really have time to work with about 150 people per year. Okay, so that goes to tell you that life is busy as well, but also, you got to spend time with people that care about you and value you, right? And value your time. You see what I'm saying? So Micah, it would take him like 2 days to call, the 3 days to go call me, and I'm like, I got you, bro, because it's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just like you as well. So certain people you're gonna distribute that time to and say, hey, ain't no problem, bro. Come on over. Or, I'm coming. I'll be there in 10 minutes, whatever. Even if I got a busy schedule, you know what I mean, which I do all the time. But the thing is, boom, I got you. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing. That's what I feel like some people they don't do. Like they'll say, well, hey, I'm from the hood, but I grew up and I'm a baller. Now I'm gonna move to wherever, right? Pick a city. They move there, right? And then you're like, well, I love Baytown, right? I love that people know my last name. I love that my family is
Facts.
very close. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I love we can jam some music in private and do whatever you want to do, right? So all these things are very valuable to me, and I also love my time. So You know, the thing is, right? Because like I said, you only got a finite amount of time, right? And I had to learn this, bro. I didn't know this at 22. Like at 22, you like, hey man, I want to help the whole world. I want to go meet 700 people a week or some shit. Like, I mean, not necessarily exactly right, but you're overthinking it. You're overthinking it, like, man, But at the same time, like just because like just y'all reaching out to me, right? Y'all already know I've been doing the same thing for 12 to 15 years. Even though it's like, why is this dude doing all this hard work? Why is he always talking about business? Why is he always blah blah blah, right? But the point is, it took that time, bro. It took that time. It took that hard effort. It took those like all night studying, bro, all night doing this and that. And then, it took me, okay, you can't have too many irons in the pot. You really can't, bro. You can't like start day one with 7 streams of income. Cause like if you look at YouTube and all this and say, hey, let's get 7 streams of income, you're gonna be a millionaire, right? Okay. But in reality, if you got 7 streams of 10,000 a year, you're only gonna be a 70,000 there. You know what I mean? But if you got 7 streams at 30,000 a year, you're gonna be at 210,000 there. You see what I'm saying? Now, I'll take that all day. But if you got 7 streams, one of them making you 100,000, and then the other one's making you 30,000. Now you're doing pretty well. What's it like 180? That's 280,000 a year. You see what I'm saying? So those are things that but at the same time, as you get older, because I always wondered, I always think about this. I used to be like at 22 or so, maybe like 17, right? I'll be thinking like, man, why does all these old folks? We're not old folks. They was like our age now. We the old folks now. But what I'm saying
Yeah,
is, why?
facts.
I was like, I was like, why do these folks only get one house? Why they only get 2 houses for like their whole 30 years or whatever, right? But the thing is, I think it's just because you start getting different values, right? Like you'll make your house more efficient for you. You might make yourself go get you a hot tub. You might go get you have a nice garage with some tools and your workout gym and all these things, right? So I think people over time, you figure out what you really value. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, hey, let's go get the next deal. Let's go do the next thing, blah, blah. It's like, let me get to a level of happiness, a level of joy, a level of I can entertain my friends as if it was a resort in my backyard. And I'm not there yet. Don't get me wrong, but I can. I mean, I can do some nice things already. But I'm saying like my 43-year-old house hopefully is like we jumping off the pool out the balcony, right? But
Hey, I like it.
yeah, so like I don't know. I think it's all stepping stones, bro. Like, and I think and it's always gonna take that same time and effort. That's it. Yeah. So. What do you think about that? I guess
About to say, shoot, look at Mike is stewing over there.
he got something on his mind,
I was
huh?
like, I see the
I
wheels
know.
turning over there.
So I know this is going back a little bit in the conversation, but the term was the phrase was brought up. It's enough for everybody to eat out here. Now you are diving into the world of real estate, and there's a lot of people that we've been to school with now that is doing a lot of real estate out here. So
Thanks.
authenticity is what you had talked about and how you sell yourself. So when you're being authentic and true to yourself, how do you normally go about the approach of starting something new and diving into it with your first customer?
Uh, well, so okay, just to clear up too with real estate, I don't sell real estate. I just buy and hold real estate. So I just
Got
buy the properties and grow them and do that. And
you.
I keep owning them, right? But the thing as far as for like a sale, right? Right now, if I'm coming to a new client, the biggest thing is discovery first, right? I discover what they need. What's your goal? When do you want it to be accomplished? What incomes do you have to make it happen? How many kids you have? Do you want to go save for college? Do you want to do, whatever you want to do? I find a discovery appointment, right? Discover what you want. Discover what your goals are. Discover if, you're married or you got, so on and so forth. And then the next thing is, okay, let's make sure from our first meeting that I gathered all the information that I needed to. Did you go have time to go look over some additional documents and that we may have needed to talk about, and so on and so forth, right? And then the next meeting would be, okay, this is what I've come back with. This is a solution I see that could be great for you. And and then at that point it's implementation. It's like, all right, well, I showed you these solutions. We took our time and did our discovery. Now, do you want to move forward with the goal and make it happen? And that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I like that. I like that
Yeah,
because you don't get a lot of that kind of authenticity when you work with people. Because a lot of people are
Right.
just all about the sale. And personally, I think whenever I get gigs DJing, you've been there when we
Oh
get
yeah.
gigs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's better DJs than
mhm.
both of us, but we be rocking shit though. So
No,
I'm not.
no, it ain't. No, it ain't.
Shout out
Right.
to Troy over there in the chat, the CEO from the sidelines, man. Appreciate you for coming through.
Right.
We be rocking shit. I think, I think we sell ourselves, and I think that's the
Right.
reason why we stay with gigs. Between me and you, we stay with gigs.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I think you going back to being grounding yourself with God and being just who you are really sells a lot. I mean, I've known you forever, so
Right.
you know what I'm
Fact.
saying. So I've seen you when we didn't like each other to how he is now. As we got older, like, hey, I can respect this man. He respect me, and
Yeah.
we grew. So it's dope to see your growth, man. It really is.
No, I appreciate that, bro. And like I said, they go back to mindset. You made me think about something because, like, yeah, I know I'm sure everybody's had the situation when they like, man, I bet such and such is saying this about me, I feel this way about me, or blah blah blah, right? And then you like, hey man, good to see you. Let me give you my phone number. And they already got your phone number saved, like real deal, J
Yup.
Neil, real skill, whatever. You like,
Yeah,
oh shit. You like, this dude still got love for me, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't even realize it. You know what I mean? Or you would be the same, right? You look, you put, let's say you put your number in my phone, it's like DJ Michael B or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So
yup,
it's like you already know it's gonna be, it's all love, right? Even though it take 10 years to see each other, even though we see each other all the time, but you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like me and Jeremy, well, I probably seen you maybe like 3 years ago, right, or something. But
Yeah.
the but the thing is, it's still love, bro. I mean, I love you. I love your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know your family, right? So all of these things matter. And and my thing is, that's why I say, as long as somebody believes in me, I got the time, bro, and I can help out a 70-year-old just like I can help out a 7-year-old, right? But the thing is, like you say, time is very valuable. I got all these licenses, I got all these certifications, so it's like, don't come lukewarm, just like they say in the Bible, right? Like, don't be a lukewarm person, right?
Speak on them.
Either you hot or you cold. If you cold, that's fine. Just let me know and say, hey, I'm cold, but I'd like you to warm me up a little bit. I said, I got you. I'll warm you up. But if you over here, you're hot one day, you're cold one day, you're hot one day, then you just cold one day, then you just lukewarm one day, then you get hot again, then you get cold. I'm like, all right, well, that's a little bit of like going on. I don't got time for that, amount of
No,
unpredictability, right?
I ain't got time to play with your thermostat right now.
Right.
big facts.
Right, right. So that's the biggest thing, man. Just come, like that's the biggest thing, bro. I promise you. And I'm gonna have a great intention. I feel like the people that authentically know me, they gonna say, man, this dude gonna have a good intention for me. He gonna take care of my kids if I got. I want to be that sounding board, but I don't got time to be that sounding board for everybody all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but like I say, it's all love from me, 100%, right? And I feel that, like I say, time is finite. So I want to organically grow. If it's like somebody that's kind of just getting into success, I would do more like a seminar basis with those people. If it's somebody that's just trying to grow faster than that, then we can meet in private or we can meet in a small group, whatever. But it's not no rush, you know what I mean? But the biggest thing is valuing that time because it's so finite. And y'all know that as, adults and parents and, got to have a girlfriend or wife or whatever. And, they need their time and your kids need your time and your job needs your time, the coaching football and going to church. All these things have a finite time in your life. Your parents, your grandparents, your whatever, right? Nieces and nephews. You're like, man,
Hmm.
I got to put this time in. But also, them goals over there waving at me like, "Hey, bro, you better come over here and help." Because otherwise the goal's gonna just disappear, or you gonna revamp your plan or whatever. But if you still got to give them enough water, right, to them to grow, no matter what kind of tree you
100%.
got, what kind of baby you got, whatever. So
So I'm with that. We
yeah.
we we've had our phenomenal, we'll call it professional conversation. I want to pivot just a little bit now. I want to talk
Oh
about something
man,
we
oh
talked about at
man.
the very, very beginning. And I'm not gonna put you on blast, but I'm gonna ask some
Nah, yeah, don't
questions.
put me on too much blast.
No, no, no. It ain't nothing like that. I actually
All right,
want to know
all
about the
right.
story of you and your wife.
Oh, okay, I like that.
How
All
how
right, I'm
how
gonna
y'all
give
how
y'all
y'all
the.
met, how you got to where y'all are now. Like I just that's just me. I always like to
Nah, I
understand
love
people
that.
how they got their family dynamic.
All right, well, I'm gonna tell you this story, and yeah, here we go. So let's go. Colorado, right? I was in Colorado. Me and Gerard walking into the club at a concert. It was a concert, and she's standing over right in front of the stage, kind of looking down at her phone. It might have been like Usher or Trey Songz or somebody up there, and she wasn't even worried about him. So I'm like, okay, this is pretty good, right? I'm like, all right. So next thing I'm like, okay, she cute. I want to holler at her. I'm a figure her name out. I figured her name out, and I just kind of did my normal thing. You know what I mean? I'm gonna kind of just keep it P, enjoy my night, but I still had her in the back of my mind, like, let me figure out who this girl is and let me hit her up, right? So, that happened. I actually shot a line to her on Facebook. At the time,
You
I
slinging
got a
deals?
number, but
The OG
yeah,
DM slide, not what they do now.
right.
What they do now is
Yeah, that's the
toxic.
old school DM. That's the old school DM, right? This is before DMs was popular, right? I never do the stuff nowadays, but back in the day, all right. So
We
next
just we
thing you
just
know,
called
I'm
it
like,
instant
all right,
messaging back then.
right, yeah, AOL now. But basically, we linked up, and you know, we kind of just kept growing. Like, we was both vulnerable at the time. We had just got out of like some pretty, I would say, tough relationships, right? Without saying the worst word, right? Toxic, whatever you want to call it. But you know, as we grew together, like, we was very organic with each other. It was like we both in a place of tenderness that's needed, intimacy that's needed. You see what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Because a lot of people just live of the world, do all kind of bullcorn, or like you know, one night stands and all this stuff, right? That we was going on a bigger factor than that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we had some dates, we had some dinners. I made her dinner, she made me dinner. Like, we was going like deeper than that. We had our July 4th, we went and sat in the Pepsi Center parking lot by ourselves.
Okay.
Nobody else was around, but the where we were sitting, we was the only ones that could see the fireworks from that side of the side of the stadium, right, in downtown Denver and stuff. So it was just things like that. We just kept building, really organically. And then, I moved. I told her basically good news, bad news, and you know, I said I had to move back to Texas, but I love you, but I got to move back to Texas, basically, right? And she basically came, man. She came on a whim, bro. She basically dropped her whole job. She had a great job and everything. And she's like, "Nah, I'm coming with you," basically, like, and
Hmm.
the rest is history. If you think about it, obviously we grew a long time since then, and we got married in 2021. But I mean, that I would say it was a real love story to a point of, because we had to grow with each other, right? Like, a lot of these girls or guys want like a ready built female. They want somebody that got 2-car garage, 3-car garage
Hmm.
at 23 years old. It's like, bro, no, you tripping, like,
Look, get
but
get some reality in your life.
No facts.
right. And then if you do get that at 23, at 33, you're gonna be looking for it again, because you're gonna be like, damn, that wasn't even real yet. You know what I'm saying? You
Hmm.
probably got some 50-year-old or some shit to do that, right? But
Okay.
but
Okay.
you
If
know
she
what I
got a
mean, right?
driver's
So it's
license,
like,
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's about
okay.
organically growing together, man. And that's, I would say, bro, I am loving the Lord, bro. But, like, you got to make the Lord the third wheel in your marriage, right? And I know that sounds crazy, but that's a fact. And we went to before the vows, we went to this engaged encounter class before we got married and all these things. But the biggest thing is what I just said, right? Is making God the third person in your family, right? In your marriage. and then your goal setting and then your capacity, right? Because we as people only have X amount of capacity, but you know, you put God in there, it ain't no comparison. Like, you know, like let's say a human can only do like 20% of their brain capacity. God can do like a 20 billion%, right? So that's once you figure that out, then you can say, okay, we got this. And like I said, it was just a lot of grace there. You know, over time, I had to be delicate with her, right? We, you know, obviously you have those arguments, you have all these things, but the biggest thing is, you know, it's like being tender with a wife, right? I mean, ultimately, that's what it's about. Like even like a certain girls gonna have emotional responses to things. They're gonna have a little attitude, this and that. But you also got to be the, you know, you got to be that guy, right? You got to be like, I'm gonna say, daddy, right? But the point is like a matter of
Yeah.
like, hey, look here, this is what it is. I love you. This is where we going. Let's do it together. You know, let's communicate it. But I'm not gonna let you, you know, you can't let your significant other lead you to astray, right? So you're like, okay, this is the path we're going. And honestly, like that's what a man is called to do at the end of the day is to lead their family in a way to where y'all on the right path in the right direction. Because at the
Yep.
end of the day, if you get stranded on a private island, you gotta survive, right? You gotta find some squirrels or whatever you gotta do. You gotta build a fire. You gotta, you know, smoke signals, whatever you gotta do, right? But somebody gotta lead that ship ultimately, and to lead, I feel like a woman is a flower, right? So to lead a flower, you gotta prune it, you gotta nurture it, you gotta be gentle with it, and all those things, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. And we 12 years in at this point, so we've been married for almost 3 of those years, so that's pretty
All right.
big.
I like that. No,
Pretty big.
that's kind of beautiful stories we like to hear, man. Like we
Yeah.
have our moments. We talk about the professionalism in the lounge, but it's you can't, in my mind, have one without the other. You got to have your professional, but you got to have those things that you talked about. It time is finite. So what are you know when you talk about those the family part of it, being married, those are the things that keep you grounded. Or in some people, it's where you find your motivation. You know, maybe your wife is your main motivator. You know, in my situation, this girl singing her ABCs right now is one of my main motivators over here because she always around her daddy, so she's always learning something. So,
Hmm.
but look, Mike, know we talk shit like we enemies or something. But I might be the only person y'all ever meet that talk shit to it too. But I
Man,
don't care.
full blown conversations too.
I don't care.
That's
You know,
good
She'll
though. That's how they
understand one day.
learn, man. Right.
you know what?
Right.
While we on the personal side, I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I know a lot about you personally too. But there is one
Right.
part of you personally I want to dive into, man. I want to know from your family side, where does y'all passion of cooking come from? Because we all know your mother could cook from the time we
Oh
were young.
man.
You had your birthday parties, the chicken and sausage gumbo, the holidays. She cooking up in the kitchen, and you just said you cook for your wife before too. And
Oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
cook a lot. Yeah.
it's never
That's a
ending.
great
Even
question, man. I'm gonna give y'all the answer to this question, and then I gotta cut it short because I've been getting blown up, right? But one thing I will say is so that came from my great grandmother, Mama Eunice, right? Eunice Freddy, right? And and she watched my mama when my mom was like a little girl, right? So she taught her all like the secrets of the trade, right, to be a great cook. And then she obviously just started getting so like she was such a good cook, and then she basically raised her two younger brothers as well to an extent. Like she always used to cook for the family, like her immediate family, right? She was the main cook all the way until she was like, you know, 20 years old, and then when she got married my dad and everything, right? So before that, you know, she been cooking since she was like 6, and and then while I was in college, that's when I really started getting pretty good at cooking because I would just call her on the phone, like, "Hey, mom, you know, trying to make these
yup.
smothered pork chops, or I'm trying to make some gumbo. Like, what do I need to do? This and that." So then I started getting my techniques down. So I just build on her techniques, and she builds on her great grandmother. I mean, on her grandmother's techniques, right? And then we just kind of keep it going, and you know, that's something I want to instill in my kids as well. You know.
I, I mess with that because man, I ain't met nobody in your family that can't cook. You can cook. Your brother can cook. Your brother wife can cook. Your cousins can cook. Your
Right.
grandma can cook. It's ridiculous. Your dad can throw down too whenever he feel like it.
Yeah, on that pit, yeah, he jump on that pit. That's his
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we love that, and I know you said you got to cut it short. You got duty calls, if you will. But like I said, we appreciate you taking some time out, coming to holler at us, telling the world your story, man. And it's good to see the
Yeah.
success. '08 with continued success is a beautiful thing. So keep doing what you're doing out there in the business ventures, man. I'm happy to hear about it. So keep doing
Man,
that, man.
nah, I appreciate y'all too, man. I'm very happy that y'all thought about me, man. And it's good when you feel appreciated, right? Because it's a thing of the grind. You never, a lot of the times while you grinding and you're trying to be very successful, you don't really pat yourself on the back, or no one else does
Mhm.
either, right?
No,
So, but it is what it is, and I wanna be able to do that for every. Keep growing. Let's keep being who we are, and let's stay in touch. Obviously, and the next thing you know, at 43, we'll be jumping out the balcony into the pool.
hey,
There you go.
look, I'm
Right,
gonna hold you to it because I'm all the way with it. I don't care. 43, I jump off the balcony. I don't give a damn.
right.
Y'all got. I'll be spinning music. Y'all got it though.
Yeah, play the music.
Somebody
That'll
got me
work too.
playing
I look,
music.
No, you probably
I'm
right.
I'm gonna do it with a drink in my hand. I don't give a damn.
Right, there you go. But now I appreciate y'all, man, and yeah, we'll be in touch. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, man, most
Yes,
definitely, man.
sir.
Be seeing you soon, man.
All right, bro. Later.
All right,
All right.
all right. So we're gonna take a small brief intermission, and then we got some fuckery coming y'all way. All right, so you see what it is. You see the showdown video. Y'all ain't never seen that before. So let me explain real quick what this is. So, as you know, me and DJ Micah B have been going at this fantasy shit for years. And when I say years, I mean years. We go all the way back like four flats on a 6'4" Cadillac. That's just what it is.
Wow.
So, this particular week is unique because we play each other not once, but twice in two separate leagues. Um, we played last week. I got my retribution back because he got me in the first. I think it was the first week. I think it was the first week. Yeah, the
Yeah,
first or
first.
second week. I don't remember. But he got me, and we was talking a lot of shit. Like we was on the group chats talking shit. We was on the pods talking shit, and then retribution happened because I came back and I said, "Nah, I got no." So I had to come back and put it on his head one time for the one time and drop 300 on him, which is a
Bro,
lot of
you know
points
what's
in
crazy?
fantasy.
You know what's crazy about the 300? I put up the second or third most
You
points and
did.
still freaking lost. Like my
Like you would
team
have beat
balled
you
the
would have
hell
beat
out.
you would have beat everybody else in the league except me that day. Like that's how crazy that shit was. But now we play each other in the From the Sidelines pod, and we play each other in the Gentlemen's League, which is the league that we started playing fantasy together in.
Yep.
So shit's getting real. So you've seen it, like I said, the showdown video is up, which means you gonna hear me and this man talk our shit because that's what the fuck we do best. If you haven't been around the show long enough, I don't know what to tell you except that you're missing out.
Big facts. They're just
So
big facts. Let me tell y'all, we will talk shit like we hate each other. If you didn't know us and you see the messages that come out during whether it's Astros versus Red Sox, Patriots versus Texans, the Heat versus the Rockets or the Spurs. And we are rivals in every damn thing.
we were rivals in high
Well,
school.
it's a college football. I think college football might be the only one we're not rivals in.
Yeah, because
I'm
I
an
don't I don't have a
OSU guy.
dog. I don't really have a dog in the college football fight. Like I just really watch it. Like if you ask me who I root for, I root for West Point because Team Army. Like I just do. But then I really just watch college football. Like if I'm being completely honest, like I've never really just followed one program because there's just too many programs in my mind to follow one, especially since I didn't go to a major college. So it's easy to represent Army because that's who I am. But then I can literally sit back and just watch it as a fan and be happy.
I loved Ohio State as a kid, and then when I got older and I realized it's cold as hell, I said that is a no go. So
Mhm.
I still root for the Buckeyes though. I still root, and I will always root for the Cougars because you know I'm Houston East Side. So
Yeah. So looking at this first matchup, looking at the from the sidelines pod, we are currently projected 193 points and 183 points respectively. Sounds like a high scoring game to me.
does
Just looking at it and looking across the board, it's the highest it's the highest projected matchup currently in week 4.
I'm not surprised. You know what? I'm gonna take my time to talk shit right now to the rest of from the sidelines in this league because the reason why I say that a couple of y'all start off hot. I have learned over the years from this man next to me, even though I talk shit to him, I will give him his props. Some of y'all jump ship too early. You jump in ship too early and you're off to a hot start, and then your team, you're not projecting your games over so many games to see how people finish out the year. And a lot of people start to slow down a lot. You're not picking players that keep up the pace throughout the year. Like it's easy to start off the first week of the season. Oh, he's on pace to break the record, and then we get to week 7 and you're nowhere near on pace no more.
Mm-hmm.
So telling you,
Like the
some
only,
players get better
yeah,
as you can go
it's
along.
and it's interesting now because we're right now we're talking about dynasty. So dynasty has a slightly different strategy.
Mhm.
So you can be hot. Dynasty is like stocks. You could be hot this year and be absolute dog water the next year based on how you draft. I drafted to be good for the next couple years.
I
I'll be
did too.
competitive this year, and that's all I need to be. Competitive means I got a chance. If I end up winning and my team hasn't peaked yet, I feel bad for the rest of y'all because my rookies haven't peaked yet, but they will. And of course, some of our usual suspects are also, I don't know where they're not doing what they normally do.
Yeah. AJ Brown really let me down.
I don't know how you say he let you down. I mean, he had 8 catches for 129
Not,
yards.
not,
That ain't
not,
letting
not,
nobody
not,
down.
not, not this week, but the week before. The week
Oh yeah,
before when they
when
played
when
Saints
Devontae Smith
and
went off.
yeah,
Yeah, I got you.
and he blew up on the sideline with Jalen Hurts because he wasn't getting the ball. It's like, hey, Smith going hard, bro. You don't have to just hey, but that's fantasy.
100%. And of course, like I said, it ain't just football for us. We also have been in the fantasy NBA for a very long time. Lots of epic matchups, lots of shit talking. Now we got a from the sidelines dynasty league that we
I
still
think
need the rest of you motherfuckers to get in.
I think I've lost. I think I've lost to you 3 times in the basketball championship, and it's fucking annoying because you've won almost every damn year in the LXG league.
I know for sure I've lost twice in the championship, but I also have an undefeated season on my record too.
Hmm
But I have one.
I was
I
supposed, I was
also
supposed to beat you.
I also was a three-peat champion too. So needless to say, I show up when it's time.
I'm very interested to know how a basketball dynasty is going to work, but
So I mean,
it's completely different from football. Just because people could play well, and especially with the way the game is now, you have people that's 35. Steph Curry is still that guy at his age now, and it's just like I don't think he's going to fall off within the next 3 years, just basically because he's not a guy that goes to the basket and gets knocked around on the floor. And shooters never lose their touch, man. True shooters don't lose their touch. They just don't.
no,
So Steph's going to be very good for the next couple. Now, where you pick him in the fantasy draft is strictly up to the people drafting. But
yeah, because I do think with dynasty basketball, you almost can draft the same, but you have to also draft some youth because you've got to be able to kind of cultivate what are you going to do when your superstars start retiring or things of that sort. So I'm looking forward to it just because I'm really enjoying dynasty.
I
I
have
like
been
I
too.
like the GM's the GM hat side of this. It's become more and more fun.
I would also say with basketball, I think basketball might be a little bit harder for a dynasty league than football, after the initial draft, and it's because you can look at a player in basketball and tell that they're going to translate into the NBA their rookie year. But beyond that,
Yeah.
it's completely different. Like there's a lot more one and dones in basketball than there is maybe in football. I mean, you look at a guy Tyreek Evans, Michael Carter Williams. These guys, Tyreek Evans came and averaged 25 and 5. Only Jordan and I think who was the other one? It was Jordan and shit, maybe Larry Bird. They were the only rookies to ever average 25 and 5 their rookie year. Tyreek Evans comes in and he does it. And after his first year and a half, you pretty much never get from Tyreek again.
Yeah.
So another guy, Terrence Williams, had a triple double his rookie year. He was balling, and then next year he just completely fell off the radar. And then you have guys that will sell you on, hey, I finally made the jump, like Aaron Brooks, and then you have the two phenomenal years in Houston. You leave Houston, and you're never that guy again. And it's tough, man. It's really tough. 82 games is a
That's
lot of
what
games.
I'm
That's why I don't play baseball.
that's what I'm looking at like right now. I'm just like I'm looking at the trends and I'm just like, man, this is gonna be interesting. But it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah,
There we go.
but
That's what I'm
y'all ain't come for none of this. Y'all ain't come for none of this. Bitch, I'm gonna beat your ass. You're not 2-0 me. I don't give a fuck what you gotta say. I'm just letting you know now. If you were to 2-0 me, I'll get on here next week. Not happening, but I'll get on here next week and say, hey, he 2-0 me. He still ain't shit, but he 2-0 me. I don't give a fuck. In the end, I'm playing for championships around here. Um, and the rest of from the sideline team, just know I'm coming for you. He's coming for you, but he gonna talk his own shit to you. So
100%. And the girl, thank you for my sunflower seeds. Anywho, the objective is always to absolutely 100%, like Coach Prom says, to dominate. All right, this is what it is. All right, so 2-0 is obviously the end game. That's the plan. That is what I want to do. That's what I plan on fucking doing. Will my team step up and have the same motivations as me? I guess we'll fucking find out starting tomorrow because we have a Thursday night football game on our hands. So to echo what he said about the rest of the league, I started off after this draft. I was number 10 in the motherfucking power rankings. I'm number 4 for the rest of the season. And we ain't even a quarter of the way through the season yet. So if my team start to fucking peak, I'm busting all you asses. All right? Or to quote the great Denzel from Training Day, I'm putting cases on all you bitches.
you know Denzel eventually dies and loses, right? I just want to
Hey,
make sure I let you know that.
listen. I ain't dying no time soon. I'm going to stand on this hill. I'm going to hold up my championship belt proudly. That's just what it is. You ain't got to like it, but the proof is in the record.
And shout out to Mel. Mel drafted Justin Fields. It ain't working out. That's what you get for talking all that shit about Justin in the first place.
He said he was good in fantasy. I mean, we're going to see. This is really his last chance against – you got a battle of the toilet bowls coming up between Denver and the Chicago Bears. So if he is going to go off at all, it will be this weekend.
Most definitely.
But if not, I have seen in numerous leagues that he has already been dropped by a lot of people.
Huh, yeah.
I do have him in a dynasty league, and I am not dropping him because I think that would be irresponsible.
I don't blame you because I mean, while I think Justin Fields will get better, I just don't think he's going to be with the Chicago Bears.
No.
This has been an organization the same around the same. The Texans have already peaked, dropped back down, or peaked again and dropped back down, and now they're going back up again. And the Bears during that time have been completely stagnant and hot garbage for the most part.
I'm about to say, yeah, just call it what it is. They've been shit.
And I'm an OSU fan. I feel bad. I feel bad for Justin Fields. I really do, man. I was mad when he got drafted to the Bears. I didn't want him to get drafted to the Bears. I want him to go anywhere. Just anywhere else. Like low key, kind of wanted him to fall to the Patriots, which I knew wasn't going to happen. But I would have loved to see him in with
Mhm.
Bill over there in the Patriots, um, competing against Mac Jones. But time will tell. So, hey,
100%.
you know what? I did not get to do my segment last week. You got that thing queued up?
Oh, I always
Let's
got
see if
that
I can
thing
get you.
queued up.
I know you always got it queued in.
Let's get it. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Where you hiding at today?
The boy said he had it queued up and said, "Where you hiding at today, Lord Jesus?"
Because I got them all on my list.
Ah, okay, I got you.
There it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you are listening, you shouldn't be because this damn show is not for kids.
Fucking right.
The amount, the amount of shit talking you hear on here is definitely not for kids. Welcome to a Gentleman's Talk exclusive crossover. If this is your first time listening to a crossover, let me explain how this works. Normally, I take something from one realm of life and equate it to comics, or I take it from one sport and equate it to another sport. I think y'all get it. It's just a crossover between life, sports, and a bunch of different. It could be music, but it's taking one list and equating it to another. So here we go for today. Recently, a lot of people have been geared up on their 2K shit.
Mm-hmm.
So I scrolled through the all decades teams and as I'm scrolling through the all decade teams, I stumble across the 2000s. By the way, the highest rated decade team on the game is the 2000s. So here's what we're gonna do with my partner in crime. I'm gonna the 2K24 who they put on here is uh not really to be discussed, even though there's one player I would put on here, but it's not my list. So there's really nothing to be like, oh, you should have put this person. It might be like, well, they need to add this person or they should have thought about this person. So here is your all decade 2000s NBA team from 2K24. Starting off with the 99 rating, Tim Duncan definitely belongs.
Himmy Duncan. Okay.
Another 99 rating, LeBron James. Would not have rated 2000s LeBron James 99, but I wouldn't have rated him 99 until he got to Miami, but whatever. And then going into the 98s, we have four: Kobe Bryant, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Shaquille O'Neal.
Hmm.
Right after that, we dive into the 97s, Allen Iverson and Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
You go you go into the 96s, Steve Nash and Vince Carter. Vince Carter's a little high for my liking, but whatever. You go into the 94s, they have Tracy McGrady and Paul Pierce. Um, I definitely
You
think
say
T Mac and Vince
94?
Carter. 94. T Mac and Vince Carter should definitely be switched. Um, and it's not even close to me that they shouldn't be switched. So and then rounding out the team, which is the 13th player at a 91 is Yao Ming.
Damn, they
Now
got that boy Yao in 91.
they did. Now, granted, there's one player missing off this list of the all 2000s team, and I could not believe it because no matter what people say, I think Jason Kidd is better than Steve Nash. I don't give a damn if Steve Nash got two MVPs. Jason Kidd took his team to back-to-back finals. He just ran into a better team both times. He
Mm-hmm.
took the Spurs to six. I think he took the Lakers to five. I don't know, the Lakers are the
Yeah.
Pistons. I think he took the. I'm just why?
Because the
Wow.
disrespect is real.
Oh
So,
boy.
but I
That's
also
what was
have a
that doing?
legitimate problem with Yao Ming being 91. At the minimum, Yao Ming should at least be at 94.
Okay.
Like, I think he's too low.
I think
Because
he's too low.
I get it. Yao Ming didn't play as long as some of these guys, but when Yao Ming dominated, Yao Ming dominated.
Ask Shaq.
Yeah, I was about to say Yao Ming gave Shaq trouble. Yao Ming gave Tim Duncan trouble. Now, mind you, Yao Ming also got dunked on by Kevin Garnett and Allen Iverson and Vince Carter and Kobe Bryant and a bunch of other individuals. He was
He got blocked by
posterized
Nate
quite a bit.
Robinson.
Yeah, he was posterized quite a bit, but he's better than a 91.
I'll tell you what. Nowadays, when you think about number one picks and people that live up to number one picks, a lot of people equate it to LeBron James. I am here to tell y'all, Yao Ming lived up to all the damn hype as a number one. Yao Ming made the All Star game his rookie year.
Yeah,
Like,
that shit don't happen very often.
right, yeah. So, all right. I think you're gonna like this because it might take us into probably if we have another segment, might be our last segment because I did watch NXT last night. You should be proud of me for watching NXT. So here
I
we
know you
go.
watched it. I know you watched it.
We
The chat
are
was live.
taking we are taking the 2000s All Decade NBA team and we're crossing it over with the 2000s WWE All Decade team that I put together myself. I got it split into three teams, and trust me, I know a lot of people ain't gonna make this list, and you're gonna be like, "What about this person? What about that person?" It's like, bro, during this time, WCW, WWE crossover, literally crossover. People aren't going to make this list. And to be fair, I kind of stuck to wrestlers that were already on WWE for the most part. Whenever it all happened, because I didn't want to have to go through, Booker T's and Rhinos and RVDs and what I'm saying. So, and mainly just a single people that wrestle singles for the most time. So Edge and Christian won't really be on here. Well, Edges, but Christian won't be on here. The Dudley Boys won't be on here for the fact that they were faction. And the Hardy Boys won't be on here because the fact that they were a faction for most of the time too. So here we go. And I broke them into three teams. First team, second team, third team. I put five on each team, just like they should have put Jason Kidd and one more player from the 2000s on the team. I don't know who the 15th person would have been. Maybe you can think off the top of your head who the 15th person would be. I
For
know.
the NBA, the NBA team.
Yep. We got 13, and I added Jason Kidd at 14.
Yeah, I would add Ben Wallace.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, most definitely. That's yeah,
I
most
know.
definitely. Right, yeah. It was a toss up for me between Wallace and Billups. That's why I was like, I don't know. Billups
It would have
won
been
the
between Billups, Wallace, and I would say Amari Stoudemire.
Stoudemire's a good one too. Yeah, I'm actually surprised Stoudemire's not on that team because Stoudemire's probably like right at the 89, 90. All right, so here we
He probably
go.
was right outside. But let's hear this
Oh,
WWE team.
all right, first team. Somebody's going to be mad, but I don't care. It probably won't be you. It might be somebody listening. So WWE's 2000s first team. Obviously, no particular order. This is just the way it came to my head. First team: The Rock, obviously. Stone Cold, obviously. Even though Stone Cold retired after 2003, his impact in the 2000s, and then he came back to be a GM as well for a couple of years. So he was still heavily involved in the company. Undertaker, undoubtedly. Triple H, undoubtedly. And this last one, I didn't know if to pick Chris Jericho or HBK, but I took HBK over Chris Jericho on the first team because Chris Jericho was the first undisputed WWE champion. He'll let you know that shit all day, every day. So
I'm not
starting
mad at
off
this
with
so far.
so starting off with the second team, Chris Jericho. The man up next is who I think is the GOAT of SmackDown wrestlers of all time. And also, what about The Rock and what about John Cena? Nope, nope, nope. Eddie Guerrero. Uh, Next up after him, WWE doesn't want me to mention his name. I don't give a damn. Chris Benoit. Then we got Edge and we got Kane. Moving on to the third team, I put Big Show, Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, And I know everybody's sitting there waiting for Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar left WWE so quick after getting there. I didn't put him on the list. I opted to put Ric Flair instead of Brock Lesnar because once again, Ric Flair came back with the whole evolution thing. He made Raw very entertaining, feudal with Vince McMahon just as a freaking manager. Uh,
Hmm.
so and he was still wrestling. His final match versus HBK is one of the absolute fucking classics. His match with Undertaker was definitely undeniable. So he was still giving us classics in the 2000s. So I opted to pick Ric Flair. There it is. That's the 15 I picked. Like I said, Brock Lesnar just didn't go on this list because I would put Brock Lesnar more in the 2010s because I feel like he had a bigger impact in the 20s. I know he was the youngest WWE champion, and then Randy Orton came along and broke the record, but he didn't stay here that long. So I opted just not to put him because his tenure was kind of short.
Okay. So I actually have a legitimate problem with some of this.
I'm pretty sure you do. It's subjective. So
I do, and my biggest problem is that Kurt Angle was left off this list.
Kurt Angle was left off this list.
That's my first 100%. That is my first thing I'm completely against. I'm completely against that. I would put Kurt Angle on there before I put Big Show. I'd put him on there before I even put. I got to go through your list accordingly. I'd put him before Batista. I would.
Okay.
Because I think the impact of Kurt Angle was bigger than the impact of Batista because it just was. Like, and also my second problem is that you don't have Mankind or Mick Foley or whatever personality you want to use.
I didn't put Mick Foley because Mick Foley really his shit was really in the 90s. A lot of his shit was really in the 90s. He had some good stuff in the 2000s too, but like again, more in the 2000s was more of the Mick Foley as the GM or consultant and not really the wrestler. That's the only reason why. And then of course, then again, Kurt Angle. The only reason why he didn't make my list again, he jumped ship. Like, he jumped ship. Hey, but he did have a good he had a very good run.
He didn't jump ship in the 2000s.
When he in TNA in 2006, I swear that's when I said he went to TNA online. That's the only reason why I didn't put him on the list.
Mm-mm. No, he did do a stint on TNA, which we know this.
I didn't check to see when he came back. That's the only reason why I didn't put him on there. But I mean, come on. We know if Kurt Angle would have stayed in WWE, Kurt Angle would be looked at as probably the freaking he probably looked at close to damn near the GOAT.
Yep, no, I get you. Like if anything, like I said, Kurt Angle would be my biggest one that I'd have an issue with that got left off this list just because without Kurt Angle initially, he's the one that puts John Cena on and over. You know, the whole ruthless aggression thing. He was a key part of the ruthless aggression era.
He definitely was.
So that's why I'm like, just not even the attitude there, just the ruthless aggression era alone, Kurt Angle was a massive part of. And of course, Edge as well. Edge was a massive part of the ruthless aggression era as well. Christian, kind of, sort of, but more so Edge. But I understand why. But I understand why Edge wasn't on the list, despite some of the greatest rivalries we had in the 2000s was Edge and John Cena. But
oh boy, see here it says that Kurt Angle was gone from WWE from 2006 to 2016. That was the reason why I just like, okay, I'm probably not gonna put him on here. I remember because I remember the interview he had, and he was like, "Yeah, my drug addiction got bad, and Vince didn't really want me out there doing stuff. So then I went to TNA, and I mean, he missed a lot of good years in WWE where he would have been like the freaking guy.
Yeah.
And we never got the rightful feud between John Cena and Kurt Angle that we should have gotten.
Oh yeah.
And prime. So, but
another one, we missed out on, which I think would have been phenomenal, is Kurt Angle and Daniel Bryan.
I do absolutely think that. Yeah. Most definitely love it. But we're wrestling heads. We are wrestling heads. You know what I'm saying? So shit. That was it. That's the crossover.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I fucks with it. That's couldn't ask for a better way to essentially close out what we got going on today. Appreciate Justin for coming through, man. It was great to catch up with him.
Yes, guys.
Great to hear about all the great things that he got going on. You see he had to cut short because hey, business is business. All right, and time is money. And that's just what it is.
I fuss with it.
As always, I 100% appreciate having the best co-host anybody could ask for. It just makes this show go around. And I really do think what we're doing is rounding into form from a talk show perspective and a few things. I can tell you there's a few things from the production side that I am working on in the background to make some improvements that we're going to see some. We're going to see some things. I keep coming up with all these videos, but I got some other ideas that I want to push our way to continue bolstering what we do best. And like we talked about last week, the round of 32 will become more of a specialty thing. It'll happen when it happens. So just be prepared. Hey, as long as you're watching, you'll always know. But we're definitely going to get back to the original formula. We're going to get back to the interviews. We're going to get back to the talk show. We're going to get back to the dumbass millionaires, the real talks, the crossovers. There will be GQ bombs dropping throughout the show. Just so you're tracking that. So that is how I want to close out the show anyway, was with the GQ bomb. So I'm going to do that real quick. So my GQ bomb is very simple because it affected my life today. I was on my way home today. I was taking care of my work, taking care of business, dropping somebody off at the hotel for work for tomorrow. And on my way, I got this sheriff behind me. I don't ever think nothing of him. I'm in a protected vehicle. So I wasn't worried about it. So I move out the way, I get over into the right lane, let him pass me. And then I get back behind him. Then there comes this truck. This truck is riding my ass. And I'm like, I don't like this. I'm already going, 85, 80. I'm going kind of fast. And I'm like, this truck is riding my ass. I'm like, I'm just going to move. So I move. And then he moves. And I'm like, all right, that's fucking weird. So I move back over. So I move back over to the far left lane, and I take off. So I take off. And then all of a sudden he gets into the right lane. And he flies up next to me. And I'm not paying attention. I'm in the middle of listening to a podcast, focusing on getting home. I'm tired. It's been a long day. And this man is talking audibly. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. My windows are up. So he's just talking, rambling, rabble. You know what I'm saying? Old country ass guy. And I look at him and I just hit him with what you want? Like, you see me driving. Like, what do you want? He proceeds then, notice that I'm in my work outfit, if you will, and proceeds to flip me off. And I'm like, all right. I didn't think anything of it. And then he drives a little bit further in front of me, and then he flips me off again. And I'm like, all right. So as you can see by the nice little title underneath my name being the CEO of Fuck Around and Find Out, here is my very, very, very simple public service announcement to you, sir. Mr. License Plate 64AV98. Yes, I have your license plate memorized. If I ever see your truck in a situation where I'm not in my work vehicle and in my work attire, and I am in something like this, something much more comfortable, if you will, you, sir, will be the inaugural member of the Fuck Around and Find Out community. Because you're going to fuck around and find out that I ain't the one. And I didn't like that. I was just trying to get home to my family. I didn't do nothing wrong. I was just driving, trying to live my life. And you decided to be a grade A certified asshole. You're going to learn one day. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
GQ bomb for the ages, bro. Wow.
That shit ran me hot. But in the moment, I had to focus because I had to get home. Like we had a lot happening at my house. And I was like, I got to get home. I wasn't doing nothing reckless. I was just driving. My normal driving, not my combat driving, just normal driving. But that's how that went, though.
Fuck around
and we might have our first member. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we appreciate y'all hanging out with us, being live with us. This has been another episode of Gentlemen's Talk. We come back to you next week with some more shit because next week is the week of another pay-per-view, which means we got to discuss it. So you know what next week's show is going to be all about. And we're going to talk about it.
Yes,
ladies
sir.
and gentlemen, we are out.
When I'm in my zone, I feel like I'm alone. I feel like I'm unknown to the world that's full of clones. My originality's focused on principalities broken. I'm loaning my heart and soul to the game that's scared to pay it back. And failure is a motherfucker. The strength to